Evening, peeps. Good evening, everyone. All right, let's see what there is to talk about today. We haven't done a video in a few days, so there should be plenty to discuss. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, let's talk about this fight on the weekend first. I can't wait for this fight. I love it because I know for as long as it lasts, it's going to be war. And that's Gabriel Rosado versus Jaime Manguia. Do you say Jaime or Jaime? I know some people said Jamie. It's not Jaime Manguia. This fight's going to be a banger, people. It really is. They both wanted it. Rosado's coming off that knockout of the year. Remember that knockout? Bloody hell. And Manguia's coming off a win against Meta, who fought GGG last time out. So this should be a good fight. Manguia, for his record, I mean, you look at Manguia's record, right? What was it 20? I think it's something like 27-13 or something crazy like that. But it's not a true reflection of how tough, 26-13, but it's not a true reflection of how tough, and I think talented he is. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's been on the wrong end of a couple of dodgy decisions, and the people that have beaten him have been very high-level people like Charlo, like Gennady Golovkin. I think David Lemieux stopped in. I don't think he lost to Danny Jacobs, but again, those kind of results. So he's losing to good level opposition. In Manguia, though, he's fighting a guy that is tough as old boots. You know, a true Mexican warrior, a guy that's going to come and fight. Manguia is already 37 fights and he's only 25 years of age, former champion at 154 pounds. Look, this is the fight I don't need to sell. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just saying this is going to be a good fight for as long as it lasts. This ain't going the distance. Someone's getting knocked out or stopped, and I think it could be Rosado, but trust me, this guy will go out on his shield. Like, he's going to cause Manguia some problems just because for as good as Manguia is, I still think he's a bit crude. And I like this Rosado with Freddie Roach. He's a lot more offensive and he now comes to fight. He's always done that to an extent, but when you're going back and watch the Jacobs performance, I thought he tried to box Jacobs. Now, though, he's saying, you know, fuck it. If we're going to go out, let's go out. And he's now having a swing. So it's going to be a very, very good fight. Did you guys see the interview today as we move away from Manguia? KELL BROOK. KELL BROOK done interviews with IFL TV, Boxing Social, and a few other outlets. Obviously, he was at the media workout for Kid Galahad versus Kiko Martinez. I am up there for that fight. I am going to be doing the reporting and the ringside interviews again, so it's a good opportunity for me to speak to those fighters. But yeah, KELL BROOK was speaking. It was basically saying that him versus AMIR Khan should happen, that he signed his contract or bout agreement, and now he's waiting for AMIR Khan to do his bit. Look, forever you say, and I know a lot of people are going to say they're not interested, and I get that. I get it to an extent because it's a fight that should have happened 10 years ago, right? There was a time when if they fought 10 years ago, it wouldn't have just been a big British fight, and it would have done that. It would have done Wembley Stadium. I genuinely believe 8-9 years ago, KELL BROOK, AMIR Khan does Wembley Stadium because both of them were quite high. AMIR Khan was coming off those wins against Devon Alexander and Collazo, and I believe KELL BROOK was coming off the win against Sean Porter and had moved on, and he was kind of floating, doing those fights against the likes of Frankie Gavin. So look, both of them had a lot of hype around them at the time. KELL BROOK was unbeaten. AMIR Khan had lost, but he had lost to good people. And I was like, okay, this could happen. This could really happen, and it would have been big. It didn't happen at the time, and I'll still stick by this. I thought AMIR Khan didn't want it. Maybe he didn't want to give KELL BROOK a payday. I don't know if he was ducking KELL BROOK, but he definitely didn't want to give him a payday, and the fight never happened. There was a lot of talk about it happening when AMIR Khan signed to Matchroom. I remember that press conference with Eddie Hearn was like, you know what? I've come here for one reason and one reason only. Still didn't happen. I even remember when I think KELL BROOK got in the ring after AMIR Khan fought, I think it might have been the Greco. And I thought, okay, it's going to happen then. Still didn't happen. And here we are now with both of them clearly way past their prime or what was their prime. And it looks like we finally might get it. And we're going to get it for a number of reasons. I think the most obvious one is that it's a big payday for both. It's a big payday for both. That's why I asked a question in the thumbnail, too late. Not too late in the sense that, you know, look, we're not stupid. We know where both of these guys are in their career. Potentially you're talking about the last fights for both. I'm talking about, is it too late for them to make 7 figures? And I don't think it is. I think this fight will potentially go on Sky. I think Sky will get it. And it will go on box office. And it will still do out an arena. Don't pretend you won't watch this fight. Don't pretend 20,000 people won't turn up to the O2 Arena or a bit less to the MEN Arena or wherever it is in the UK and watch it. You will watch it, because both of them have had this long-standing beef for about 8 or 9 years, and both of them have deteriorated at the same rate. It's true, both of them are exactly the same rate. They're both bad right now. I don't want to be blunt, but both of them aren't great right now. So I think it still makes for an enjoyable fight. It really does. 8 years ago, I would have said Kell Brook was going to win. 7 years ago, Kell Brook going to win. Anything up to last year, I said Kell Brook was going to win. And not just win, I thought he would have stopped AMIR Khan. Now, I have no idea. I've absolutely no idea how Kell Brook versus AMIR Khan plays out. And that's the intrigue. That's why I will tune in and watch it. That's why, if I'm around, I'll probably go to it. It's true. I will probably go to it, just because it's a fight I've always wanted to see, and it's a fight I still do want to see. I know some people, and I was reading the comments on both videos, and people were like, if it was in my back garden, I'd draw the curtains. You're such a liar. Stop lying to yourself. You would still watch it. You would. I guess both are hoping they can both still make good money. That's it. I mean, is there an interest in it? I think there will be, and hence why Sky will take it. Hence why Sky will put it on box office, and hence why it will still do good numbers. Honestly, if they price it right, so they don't chuck it on at $25.95, if they chuck it on at their $19.95, or I wish $14.95, it will still sell a few 100,000 pay-per-view buys, and that will pay for both. So it is very likely that we will get AMIR Khan against Kell Brook finally, sometime in the spring of 2022. Kell Brook looks in shape. You can always tell with Kell, because he normally gets a double chin. He doesn't have that at the moment, so he's clearly in shape. I don't know if he's sparring. He's probably just ticking over, but he doesn't look too heavy. I'd look at him now, and I think he's probably about 165, 170. I have no idea where this fight's going to take place. People will say 147 for AMIR Khan's benefit. I think AMIR Khan will struggle to make 147. I really do. But yeah, at least we know that Kell Brook has signed something. And if he's signed something, it means there's been some sort of dialogue between the both of them, and they're happy with the contracts. And now it's just a case of AMIR Khan signing his side. And I finally think that AMIR Khan will. Again, I know people are not too intrigued, or you know, people are intrigued, but people aren't happy because it's 8-9 years too late. Let me just double check again when the AMIR Khan Collazo fight was, because that's when it should have happened. But at the time, you can't really blame AMIR Khan. AMIR Khan was chasing Floyd Mayweather, and he wasn't just chasing; he was very close as well. I remember when Floyd did a poll, and it really was between AMIR Khan and what's his name again? Maidana. And AMIR Khan actually won that poll. People were like, yeah, AMIR Khan. And AMIR Khan still didn't get it. So AMIR Khan was obviously chasing bigger and better things at the time. All right, so yeah, the Louis Collazo fight was 2014, and then the Devin Alexander fight was straight after. When was that Kell Brook Sean Porter? I think Kell Brook Sean Porter was 2013. When was it? Kell Brook Sean Porter was 2014. So AMIR Khan at the time, I remember, said, Kell Brook's got to go and get a world title. Kell Brook got it 2014. AMIR Khan had just come off the Collazo win. It was perfect right then. Right then you make the fight, and it is huge. And it's not just huge because both aren't faded and both have a lot to offer. It's huge because at the time you're looking potentially at the winner saying, I am the best at welterweight aside from Floyd Mayweather, right? The winner goes on to fight Floyd. The winner gets a chance at Pacquiao, potentially. That's how big it was. Didn't happen. But look, it probably is going to happen 2022. And like I said, I will certainly still watch it without a shadow of a doubt. A bit here on Andy Lee saying that he feels Anthony Joshua should link up with Adam Booth. Interesting. I said, like, and I've done a video when I said it, when AJ's going to America to look for all these trainers, and great trainers in America, I think it's proven, right? Some of the names he's been linked with are high-level trainers. I said we've still got some high-level trainers over here in the UK. You know, I don't know how you compare and say if they're better than what there is in the US, but there's still some good trainers. Adam Booth wasn't the name I was thinking. I was thinking Shane McGuigan when I was thinking of a name for AJ, but Adam Booth's clearly a very, very good trainer. Doesn't have much with him anymore. I'm trying to think of top fighters with Adam Booth. And the one that springs to mind right now is Josh Kelly. That's the only one. I'm sure there's others, right? But a few years ago, you could reel off all the top names. Not so many anymore. So I think Adam Booth would welcome the link as well. Eddie Hearn says Maya Hamadouche was a fight of the year contender, 6-4 either way, but 190 was a joke. It was. This is the fight, to be fair, this is what Terry Harper should be looking at. Terry Harper obviously has her work cut out on the weekend. She should win, to be fair. But if she does come through, then she should look to unify against Maya. That's a big, big fight. I spoke to Terry Harper a couple of days ago alongside her trainer and manager, Steffi Ball, and, you know, that's the fight they said they want in 2022. They still want the Tasha Jonas fight as well, they said. But obviously her now being on Sky makes it a bit more difficult, but she's still very, very interested in that fight. A bit here on Jaron Ennis saying, look, to the other welterweight champs, fight me or vacate the belts and get out of my way. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, look, Terence Crawford has got his belt. He's got work coming up against Sean Porter. We wait to see when Errol Spence is going to return. Obviously, he's got his belts. So we'll see. I think the obvious one is Ugas. Ugas is the fight to make, to be honest. Because there is still questions about Jaron Ennis. Like, even in that stoppage, I can't remember the guy's name he fought now. It's going to bug me. Delorme, was it Delorme? He got caught 3 or 4 times where he was trying to get the stoppage. Big right hands. He ate them. Congratulations. Well done. He's clearly got a chin. You can't do that against the elite guys. I don't think so as well. You get away with that against the guys that are C and B level. The jump to A level is very, very big in boxing. I've noticed it. It's very, very big. He can't fight this the way he does against a Crawford, against Errol Spence. As good as he is, he'll get beat. So I think Ugas is the perfect jump, and then we'll see. Then we'll see if he's ready for the top 2. Because I think after Ugas, he will be ready for anyone else, but we'll see if he's ready for the very, very elite. We shall see. Hopkins saying that Canelo would sweep 175 division. He can compete at cruiserweight. Interesting. I have mentioned this. Another name drop. I spoke to Tom Gray today, the managing editor of the Ring magazine, and he said exactly the same thing. He said he thinks that Canelo could unify and become undisputed at 175. That's what he said as well. He looks at the champions up there. Dimitri Bivol, I agree with him. Joe Smith, I agree with him as well. Beterbiev, I'm not convinced that Canelo beats him. I think he's far too big. Canelo's small at 168. 175, I mean, Beterbiev couldn't make 168 to save his life. He'd have to chop off a leg. That guy is massive. And he must come down from something like 215 or something to make 175. So the idea of him beating him, I don't sit well with me. I did ask Tom Gray, and I put this out there, I think, on social media. Would Canelo beat Makabu? Now, this isn't disrespecting Makabu, because Makabu is a very slick southpaw. If you're thinking of the Makabu that fought Tony Bellew, think again. He's improved since then. That was a long time ago. He's a lot more better, a lot more confident now. And he can crack as well, Makabu. I think was it like 28 wins? I think 22 of them are by knockout. Something like that. Let's have a quick look. Okay, 28 wins, 25 by knockout. He can crack. So it's not as easy as him going up and fighting Makabu. Makabu is the only name you think when you think of the champions that he potentially could fight against, because the others are just too big. The others are masquerading as cruiserweights but are real heavyweights. Lawrence Okolie is a heavyweight, and Bradis was talking about going up to heavyweight as well. So there are big guys up there, but Makabu's an interesting one. I don't think he will go there. I don't think it's... I think if you become undisputed at 175 or win another belt at 175, I mean, what are you chasing now? Like, becoming a 5-weight world champion isn't going to... I mean, it will add to the legacy, but I think becoming undisputed at 175 is even better. I think it really is. I think it's one hell of an achievement. So let's see what he does, because, I mean, you look at what's out there at 168 for him. I think the obvious one is David Benavidez. And to be fair, David Benavidez should be front of the queue. If Canelo's going to fight anyone in May, it should be Benavidez. It shouldn't be Charlo, who's a 160 guy. It shouldn't be Golovkin, who, let's be honest, hasn't done much for the last couple of years, who, again, is a 160 guy. He should be fighting the guy that is at 168. And, if we're being very honest here, the guy whose belt he has at 168, let's not forget, Benavidez didn't lose that belt in the ring, the WBC belt. He lost it outside the ring. So in my eyes, I know it's wrong, because he lost the belt for whatever infringements He did, but he's still the WBC super middleweight champion unless you beat him. And I think him versus Canelo in Mexico at the, was it the Aztec Stadium? Is it the Azteca Stadium? What's it called? I think it's Azteca Stadium. Yeah, Azteca Stadium in Mexico, which holds a capacity of 87,500. And if they put seats on the grass, might get to that 100,000 mark or at least 90. I mean, that's what you want. Two Mexicans going at it in Mexico for all the marbles at 168 pounds. One unbeaten, one the pound for pound king. And Canelo, I still feel, and I said this the other day, and I don't know, but I remember speaking to Joe Gallagher. I'm mentioning a lot of names today. And he said, in the lead up to the Callum Smith versus Canelo fight, he spoke to a lot of Mexicans and they're like, beat Canelo, beat Canelo. And he was surprised by that. The reason I say that is because maybe Canelo hasn't got the love from Mexicans in Mexico as much as the Mexicans he's got the love from in America. So this would do it, right? I mean, you're fighting a fellow Mexican in Mexico. It's a big fight. It's a huge fight. Maybe it's the fight to make. Maybe it's the fight to make. And I like it. And I hope that Benavidez gets his opportunity because, again, he's done some silly things outside the ring. Like, you know, he got caught taking cocaine and shit. But he's back now and he's a big 168 and there is no fear. He holds no fear for Canelo. So I think it'll be a good fight. Derek Chisora wants an American referee and good judges for Parker rematch. They done the press conference the other day. There's a guy on that card that I think could be the future of the cruiserweight division. A New Zealand guy who is a bronze medalist in the Olympics and I believe two-time Commonwealth gold medalist as well. I forgot his name, so I'm going to quickly bring it up now. What's his name? David Nyika. Now, he's only had one fight, so Ade, calm down a bit. Looks the real deal. Really big and strong at the weight. Again, good amateur background as well. His opponent is TBA. It's going to be TBA because he's not going to fight anyone of note. But don't be shocked if they don't fast track him. Again, I like this card a lot. We've spoken about it before, but Boatsi versus Vlasov and Gongora versus Lerone Richards is serious stuff. Even Zelfa Barrett against Torimo. These are not easy fights at all. We get to see Jordan Thompson. We get to see Sandy Ryan. I like it. And Rhiannon Dixon as well. A female coming up as well. So look, decent card, right? I don't think we can complain too much about that one. What's this? Eddie Hearn saying here that he expects Joshua to head back to America to get a second look at trainers. You just need to make your mind up and make your mind up very, very quickly. Look, it's not going to be easy. He spoke to 5 or 6 trainers out there. He seemed to really, really like Robert Garcia. Obviously, he's trained so many different world champions. He spoke to Eddie Reynoso. He spoke to Virgil Hunter. He done some stuff with Ronnie Shields. I think when you look back at that IFL TV interview that he did with Kugan Cassius, it almost seemed as though he's trying to get a new trainer to also work alongside what he's got now. Makes no sense. If you want to do it, just do it. If you really are thinking about a new trainer, it means you're not happy with your own. Honestly, you can't, imagine like in football, like you got Jurgen Klopp, and then you remember back in the day when they used to have like 2 managers. Do you remember that? Liverpool had at one stage Roy Evans and Gerard Houllier. That didn't work. Eventually, Roy Evans left. Gerard Houllier took the mantle by himself and done good things with Liverpool. Sometimes you just have to sort of break away from what you've got and start fresh. But for me, if he's looking at fighting Usyk in March or April, you make the decision now. You get as long as you can with that new trainer now. So you get December, January. You need to do it now. It's not like Tyson Fury with Sugar Hill Stewart because there was a relationship of sorts before they knew each other. But Tyson Fury is such a good boxer, he was able to adapt. AJ doesn't have the same boxing ability as Tyson Fury, so he's going to take time to really understand a new trainer. I even don't think 4 months is enough. I think a year. Honestly, I think it'll take a year, but you don't get that. I even think not just a year, I think it takes about 4 different fight camps. He hasn't got that. So when I say that, maybe the best thing is to stay with what he's got now. But it's a tough decision, but I do think if you are going to go to one of these American trainers, it has to be now. You have to do it now. And I actually don't mind a Robert Garcia. I really don't. I don't mind a Robert Garcia at all. A bit here about Frank Mir versus Kubrat Pulev. Kubrat Pulev, I don't know what he's doing. Is he stopping real boxing? He's fighting Frank Mir in a triangle ring. Yeah, I don't know. I don't say. Demetrius Andrade held a media day. Obviously, he's got his fight coming up against Quigley. I mean, look, good luck to Quigley. Good luck to Demetrius Andrade as well. But I mean, what is going on? Like, can I just bring up Demetrius Andrade's record? For a guy that's a two-weight world champion, and that's what he is, two-weight unbeaten world champion, who's been with Matchroom and DAZN for the best part of 3 years, I think it is now. I mean, his resume, since the Walter Katundokwa, remember that was supposed to be Billy Joe Saunders, but obviously Billy Joe Saunders wasn't allowed to fight because of the nasal spray. Akavov, Sulecki, Keeler, Williams, Quigley. This is a guy, I mean, this is the middleweight division. I'm sorry. And again, I'll read those names out again. Akavov, Sulecki, good fighter. Keeler, Liam Williams. This is not discrediting Liam Williams as well, by the way, but if you're Demetrius Andrade and in and around your division, because he can go to 168, he struggles to make 160. You've got Charlo, you've got GGG, you've got Derevyanchenko, you've got Canelo, and you're fighting Quigley? Anyway, next. Good luck to him. Good luck to him. How old is he now? 33, going to be 34 on the 26th of February. Boy, oh boy. I saw this the other day. Tyson Fury entered the Wilder trilogy with injuries, said his father. There's no point even mentioning that because he got the win. Like, well, it's weird. I'd almost expect Wilder's camp to say something like that. Who got the loss? You expect the person who got the loss to say, if you got the win, there's no fighter out there. I'm telling you now. I know all fighters say I'm as fit as I ever was. There's no fighter out there, having spoken to fighters after camps and before camps, that doesn't walk into the ring with some form of injury. It's just they put their bodies through so much, especially the lower weight guys, to make weight. Everyone's carrying injuries. This guy is interesting. I'm not quite sure what to make of him, but Vidal Riley has inked a long-term agreement with Boxer. So he's now going to fight on Sky Sports. I think he's, 4-0, he's cruiserweight. Beat Daniel Dubois as an amateur, by the way. 4-0, 2 knockouts. I mean, when was the last time Vidal Riley actually had a real fight? Obviously, he's been training, or was training the likes of KSI and all that kind of stuff. Vidal Riley, he's only 24 to be fair. His last fight was the 28th of February 2020. Okay, cool. Next. Rocky Fielding pumped to snap layoff, ready for Dmitry Chudinov. That's a good fight. I never understood why Rocky Fielding just stopped, by the way. Well, maybe, I mean, boxing's a tough sport, isn't it? He got paid quite well after that Canelo fight. Remember, he fought a guy that was 26-6, knocked him out. That was 15th of November, 2019. He hasn't fought for 2 years. Jesus, man. Okay, anyway, good luck to him. If it is Chudinov, it's not a bad opponent, but yeah, very, very strange. 2 secs here. But the thing about Tommy Fury, I feel like I've won the lottery. You're asking me to fight a nobody on a world stage. I love all this talk, but boy, you lose. You lose to Jake Paul, who is, look, he clearly can box some, but is a YouTuber that's just taken up boxing a few years back. This ain't good. This really ain't good. The problem is, Tommy Fury I don't think of as a real boxer either. I don't. Everyone that Tommy Fury's beat, I think Jake Paul would have beaten them. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, credit to Jake Paul. I feel like Jake Paul's the one that's... Look, to be fair, I'm about to say Jake Paul's taking all the risk, but Jake Paul's got a built-in excuse here. If he loses, yeah, I tried and I lost to a real boxer. If he wins, then fuck me, you're not going to shut that guy up at all. A bit here about Terence Crawford, Sean Porter. The pay-per-view price is $70. What is $70 in pounds? 52 quid. And again, I laugh because we have fucking heart attacks over here when AJ went to £24. Like when AJ became a $24.95 fight, AJ, we went mad. Like, how dare Sky? And look, I'm not saying put the pay-per-view price up. I'm not advocating it because it's expensive to watch the sport of boxing nowadays. But imagine AJ versus Usyk, the rematch was priced at $52.20. In fact, fuck that. Imagine if AJ beat Usyk, Tyson Fury done his job against Wilder. And AJ versus Fury was priced at £40. People would literally march on Sky Sports. They'd march there with placards. But yet, Porter versus Crawford is set at £52, $70, which actually is quite cheap considering some of the pay-per-view prices we've seen in America for the big fights. And that is a big fight. Bob Aram here saying, would be wise for Joshua to take interim fight, allow Fury Usyk. I wouldn't mind it. I would not mind it. It would be a strange one though. Like say for example, AJ did take an interim fight against, a top 15 guy. Say AJ, it's a bit risky, but say AJ fought Hergovich or Joe Joyce and beat them, and then Fury beat Usyk. Would AJ Fury be big still, or would you be upset that AJ hasn't got his revenge over Usyk? Because I think Fury would beat Usyk. But I don't know. In an ideal world, AJ does take an interim fight. He's not going to. So Bob Aram chatting shit here, but he's not going to because he wants his belts back. But in an ideal world, from a trainer perspective, it's a great shout. You take an interim fight, you work on stuff with your trainer, and then you go and, face the winner of Fury Usyk. I don't know. What else have we got here? Anything else? A bit on Hughie Fury here. He'll face high caliber opponent next, says his trainer. That's his dad, Peter. I don't know. Let me have a look at the box rec quickly. Who is, at this stage, a good opponent for Hughie Fury? I think the best name that he could fight is Charles Martin. I think that's a good opponent. I don't think they'll be able to get Charles Martin over here. But let's have a quick look at the record. So guys in and around him. He's not going to fight Gassiev, who's now a heavyweight. Agit Kabiel, who's unbeaten, but he's not been active. When was the last time Kabiel fought? Okay, no. Kabiel fought Kevin. You know what? That's a good fight. Make that fight. Kabiel, it's not because of his last opponent. His last opponent was Kevin Johnson, who is now 35-17. Kevin Johnson's 35-17. How Kevin Johnson is just literally since the AJ defeat in 2015, Kevin Johnson, who I think at the time had only lost 4 or 5 fights, has now lost 12 of his last 15 fights. Kevin Johnson, who was a one-time world title challenger. Go and get your money, Kevin Johnson. As long as it doesn't cause you brain damage, go and get your money. What else have we got here? Ryan Garcia has responded to Canelo criticism. I don't lack inspiration. It's all love, nothing personal. Yeah, I didn't think Canelo was trying to be I don't think he was trying to out him. I think he was just saying what he sees. Ryan Garcia is maybe not as serious as he should be. I guess that's probably a criticism, of all young athletes, right? Where you just the penny has to drop. Especially when he was coming off a good win against Luke Campbell, there was a lot of things going on around Ryan that just didn't seem correct. Obviously, he spoke about his mental health and depression, and that's fine. You can't complain if someone talks about that. I've been through that myself. You just need to let them be. But it clearly is other stuff as well, and I think he does need to just kind of get back to where he felt he was a year ago, where it looked like it was all about his boxing. Yes, your social media, but your boxing first. We'll see. Anything else before we pack up? A bit here about Freddie Roach, who said he would embrace training Joshua for Usyk. I've never really thought about Freddie Roach as potentially AJ's trainer. He's definitely kind of that old school father figure type, and maybe that's what AJ needs, just someone to kind of work on AJ's psyche. I'm not quite sure. Cambosos, Lopez going to all these events like a groupie, I'll expose this fraud. That's such a great fight. Such a great fight. I'm hoping to fly out for that fight on the 23rd. Obviously work on the 27th. Fingers crossed, God willing. There's just a few things that need to work out for me to get out there. But yeah, we're hoping to get out there for it. And it'd be nice for me to be in America, an event that DAZN is showing, and for me to kind of do my thing and for the Americans to see what I can do. If not, look, there's always going to be other opportunities. There is Devin Haney, Jojo Diaz. There's the fight in Japan. Gennady Golovkin, Murata. So there's others, but I'd love to get out of it for this one. Would love it. I was upset not to be out for Canelo, Caleb Plant. I was asked to go out, but obviously America hadn't opened up at the time. But we'll see. We'll see. Anything else before we pack up? Let me quickly just go onto Mike Coppinger's Twitter page. There's always interesting stuff there. Let's see if there's anything to talk about before we go. What's Mike saying? Okay, let's have a quick look at, this is interesting. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Isaac Cruz. The undercard has just been announced. Pretty good one. In fact, this is a good one. Sebastian Fundora versus Sergio Garcia. Derevyanchenko versus Carlos Adames. And Eduardo Ramirez versus Miguel Mariaga. Solid. Solid. That's what I would call that undercard. Solid undercard. And we will definitely be doing the live watch along for that. We've got loads of live watch alongs coming up, people. I'm excited to be doing them. Anything else, people? I think that is it. Yeah, that is it. Final one. The Probellum, their first card, December 11th in Dubai, is going to be headlined versus Edwards versus Marma. Never heard of this guy, Marma. But good luck to Sonny Edwards and Casemiro versus Paul Butler. Paul Butler, former world champion. See if he can do anything at Casemiro. I doubt he can do anything, if I'm honest with you, but we'll see. All right, guys. Peace and love, everyone. Thank you.